Mohammed,
How are you?
I don't know, bro. How are you? That's the better question.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Welcome back to another episode of Wave. Welcome with the co-host Osama, and we have another episode for you guys today. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe every video. Every video will be released Wednesday and Friday. Make sure to follow us at Waves 2.0 on Instagram, at Waves 2.0 on Instagram, or Osama at his page at Kusa 300. Once again, at Kusa 300. You can follow myself at Muhammad.global. Lastly, at Muhammad.global. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Breaker, Anchor, Outcast, and other various platforms. A
Yes, sir.
lot of platforms. We want to provide the best content possible. So therefore, give us feedback, give us questions. Want to come on the show? Let us know. And let's start off today's episode. How are you, Osama?
Honestly, bro, I'm blessed. Not gonna lie. Just the only thing is my allergies. For everyone that has allergies, I want to ask you something. Is this year's allergies like just insane? I've talked to a lot of my friends, and they're like, "Yo, this year's allergies are, bro, horrific." I'm not gonna even lie. Like, it's stressing me out. Stressing me out, bro.
Yeah, it's weird being back at work. Just finished my first week after obviously right now we're still in the pandemic. And one of my coworkers, he has allergies, so he's always sneezing and stuff. And everyone just like keeps looking and everyone's like scared and stuff. But obviously we knew he had allergies before and stuff, right? So it's the allergy season,
Yeah.
but still it's
Well, the
still
thing
not a
is,
fun thing.
just to go back to your point, yeah, it's a little bit of paranoia because you're like, is it like God forbid, is it corona or is it like allergies? But obviously, if you know you have allergies, like this is my time where I'm like dying with like, and I just take either Halls, which is like helps with my like what just helps with me like able to breathe, and then two, I just took Reactant today because like today I was going nuts. I'm like I'm getting cheesed.
Yeah,
But
it's crazy.
but I do want to say, by the way, guys, if you want to suggest a topic for us to talk about, by all means, because we have one of our friends that did. He's been sending us a lot of text messages like talk about this, talk about this. And Mohammed, do you want to talk about the topic we're talking about?
Yeah, so yeah, like Osama said before, we start off today's topic. If you have any feedback, any questions whatsoever, make sure to hit us up, let us know, right? So it's not only a show where we talk about things we want to talk about, we want to make sure that the people who are listening, their voices and their opinions are being heard as well, right? It's a beautiful collective. I want to make sure that everyone has a sense of importance commuting to the as far as contributing to the show, right?
Yes,
That's what we emphasize that ways at all the
yes,
time. So the first topic that we're going to talk about today is living your life with a sense of purpose.
living your
Living,
life.
yep, living your life with a sense of purpose. So I think I go back to the question. Also, everyone knows Macbeth, right?
No,
The book by Shakespeare. And if you don't know, at least you know the line "to be or not to be." That is the question, right?
yes,
And it's a beautiful line because obviously I'm not talking about the story, but that line just means it can mean anything for obviously your life and what you're going
hmm
through, right? So to be or not to be, it's something I ask myself once in a while. Let's say like once every 6 months, and the reason why I ask myself that question is because to be, if you want to be that person, that image you have in your head since whatever age you were, there's a sacrifice that comes with it. And the question is, are you willing to take on that sacrifice? It's not easy. No one's gonna walk you through it. Also, you have to go by yourself.
yeah,
But obviously, as long as you have people that understand you, that work with you, and have the same ideal mindset and vision as you, it makes it more easier. But let's say you're all alone, you're all alone, right? You don't have those people with you. It is very tough. So to be that person, to go through that sacrifice, that humility, the humbleness, and all the hardships and struggles, is it really worth it? But at the same time, to be or not to be, if I choose not to become that person, my life will be easier. So therefore, less pain, less hard choices, more loving from like friends and family support.
yeah.
But the question is it really worth it? So it's a beautiful thing that our friend gave us the topic to talk about living your life with a sense of purpose because what does it mean to really live your life with the purpose? And if that's the case, is it really worth it to go after it? What do you think, Osama?
Well, it's basically contingent on the person themselves because your purpose is definitely different than mine. Like when it comes to ways, yes, we have the same goals, we have the same aspirations, we know what we want to do, but you have different purposes in life. Quote me if I'm wrong. Like you obviously in your brain, you know, aside from things that you have similar to your friend, or there's other things that you would like to do that you kept quiet about. You're like, one day this is gonna happen, right? Motivating
Mm-hmm.
yourself. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a purpose in life, there's no point of living, personally speaking, because I don't care. It could be the smallest thing. I just wanted to get a degree and then work for a $50,000 job. That's a purpose. That's your purpose. That's what you want to do. Some people want to like, hey, I want to be the next Bill Gates. I want to be the next Muhammad Ali. Some people have purpose in their life. Some people want to say, I want to be an innovator of something or some sort. I feel having a purpose is the motivating factor. Sorry, it's a motivating factor to achieve what actually matters. Because how is it possible to achieve your purpose if you don't have one in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Which, and I know people are going to say, well, like, what about your purposes? Or what about what? Like, explain that. You can't have no goals, you can't have no dreams if there's no purpose in life. Like the purpose has to be something meaningful, something impactful that legit is in a sense I want to say subjective where it subjectively motivates you to say this has to get done. Like
Yeah.
why do you like it's like we always talk about the W's like why, what, where, why, and how and stuff like that. Why is your purpose so important? What does it mean to you to fulfill your purpose? You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's amazing that you said that because it's funny. Well, obviously not like it's funny to me, but obviously it doesn't matter whether you do or not. But people don't believe in God, and obviously that's their choice.
Mm,
But those same people still feel as if they have to live for a purpose. Like there's a sense of purpose at the end of the day, right?
yeah.
So whether you believe in something, whether you believe in religion, or you don't believe in religion, you do know that you're living for something at the end of the day. Whether that's rooted in ignorance, arrogance, positivity, righteousness, whatever. Like you do realize that you're living for something. Like every human being realize, oh, there's a reason why I'm living. There's a reason why I'm living. So if you don't know where you're gonna start, you can start from there. Like, why am I living? Like, what's the point of me being on this place called Earth with all these humans and all these different tribes, rituals, purposes, jobs, society, influences, and structures? Like, what's the meaning of all this, right? So once you're able to break that down, or if you don't want to, there's always it's a huge task. You can just skip to you. Like, why am I here? What is the meaning of life? And what do I have to do in order to live the life I want to live, right?
Yeah.
So everyone has a purpose, every single human being. Now, a lot of people choose to ignore it, but Osama, they didn't choose to ignore it. They knew what it was at eventual age,
Hmm.
but the purpose was crushed by someone
Yeah.
else. It could be an older sibling, friend, parent. They crushed their purpose. You, no, that's never gonna happen. So therefore, that person never brought it up again. Kept it within themselves, buried it in a place that they never ever want to see again because no one likes to go through bad memories. Obviously, it's
No.
terrible. It's a bad feeling. So therefore, that purpose is pushed to the side, and they end up living a life which they never want to live in the first place, and they end up living a life which leads to confusion, paranoia, sadness, anger, depression, all these different things. But when you break everything down, when you literally take out the skeletons from the closet, when you look at the person behind the mirror, like the Wizard of Oz, you realize that what you're living for was based on a false sense. It's a
Hmm.
false identity because that purpose was there the whole time, but you chose
Yeah.
to ignore it. And I think who was it again? It was a seal when she was on their show.
Hmm.
Was she talking about the alignment?
Yeah.
Yes, so now it's coming back to me. So it's like you need to have the alignment with who you are and also your sense of purpose within your
Yeah.
soul. Because when you're able to align those things, life is so easy. Because it doesn't matter what you go through, you know at the end of the day what you're living for. I think that's the best thing, Osama. You know what you're living for. Forget your purpose. You'll get to the purpose, but if you know what you're living for, the
Yeah.
purpose becomes easy.
But the thing is, talking about just to add on to what you said about people crushing people's dreams or their purpose, sorry. If you know what you're living for, there should be no person on this God given earth that can ever take that away from you. If it really means that much to you. Like for example, if you tell me if you said from the day you were young, I'm gonna be the greatest entrepreneur this world has ever seen,
Yeah.
right? And there's a purpose behind that, but you don't have to share your purpose because sometimes that could be secretive. If that means so much to you, you'll never allow anybody. I don't care what they say to you. to ever destroy that if it means a lot that much to you. And that's like, in a sense, going back to what Asil was saying, you have to align yourself with positivity with you. Like going back to that same quote you said, to be or not to be. You want to be that person
Mm-hmm.
and go and keep going forward. And why wouldn't you want to live for a purpose? Why don't you want to like achieve for the best? Like a lot of people always like, because we talked in our last episode, success isn't all about money. Your purpose should never be something materialistic
Mm-hmm.
because that can come and go. Similar to friends, similar to like anything that you can ever buy or like feel. Your purpose should be something intangible, something that cannot be seen, something that's like meaningful, and something that will allow you again to go as a to be a motivating factor. So
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you talked about God, how he's what like as a motivating factor, like the faith that you would have in him to believe, and that for people who don't believe in him, well, how can you believe in a self purpose, but you're not able to believe in something else, like a higher superior, with who's able to help you to achieve that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Osama. I actually want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
The
Shoot.
people who you look up to in life right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
doesn't matter when you're growing up, because right now, obviously, I'm going to assume that you know what your purpose is. The people you look up to right now in life, do they have a sense of purpose? Do they know what they're living for?
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that because when I look up to people, I like to be with people who are either equal as me or better than me, or like they have a sense of trait that captivates me and I want to learn from them. So the people that I surround myself with, of course, they have a sense of purpose. Now, you can for sake of an argument, you could say, well, what if they're lying? What if they're lying? But you can obviously tell by genuine actions and their words are turning into action.
Yeah.
They're not saying stuff for just saying it. Yeah, I do believe that the people I look up to have a sense of purpose. I have looked up to people that have no sense of purpose. They're just speaking out of like nonsense and
Mm-hmm.
saying stuff that makes no logical sense because of the environment they were built in. We spoke about this on the I think the previous episode. I think it's episode 11 or episode 12, whichever one it was. We were talking about the pieces of humanity. But I feel there's a lot of driving factors to see where that purpose comes from, right? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I can name them. I can name a few who I do look up to, and I know they have a sense of purpose, and that's also in a way helps because that by you surrounding yourself with people says about you more than you really think. If you put
Yeah.
yourself around drug dealers, what are people gonna think? I don't care if you ever do drugs in your life. They're gonna think you're a druggie. You
Mm-hmm.
put yourself around successful people, it's gonna be successful because he has that mindset.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, it's actually a good thing you said that because not to play devil's advocate, but obviously some people, not everyone's gonna have the same opinion or agree with everything that you say or myself. So the fact that you said that, oh, what if you look up to drug dealers? A lot of people, especially in the black community, like with the youth, like us growing up, we look up to our favorite rappers, and when you hear their favorite stories, how they grew up and stuff, it's always about like I grew up in the hood. It was only like either playing basketball, like Biggie said the famous line, either you're
Yeah.
slinging crack rock or you have a famous jump shot, right? So it's like either you go to basketball or you sell drugs, right? That's the goal. You sell drugs, get a big
Mm-hmm.
house, cars, girls, and all these things. So a lot of people, that's their purpose. It's like, yo, and plus the movies like Scarface, Goodfellas, The Godfather, those movies. So it's like those kids, they grow up with a purpose. Like, I want to be like those guys. I want to
Yeah.
be like those guys because those guys are living the best life. Like those guys are doing it. But it's like, yeah, you might think that's your purpose. That's really not your purpose because those guys, even though they're living the life of the luxury and all these different things, the time span is really short. Most of those people who are successful in what they're doing, illegal activities, is only like 3 to 10 years, if you're lucky. But at the end of the day, you're gonna perish, whether that's through jail or in the ground, right?
Yeah.
So it's like people might say that, oh, that's still purpose, but is it still purpose if it's ruled in a good thing or a bad thing? Is it still purpose or no?
Well, look, people who live in a life of purpose have a core beliefs and value that influence their decisions, right? So
Can you say that
obviously,
again? That was really powerful.
people who live a life of purpose have a core belief and value that influence their decisions, basically that shape their life day to day. So for some, I'm gonna
Mm,
use you as an example because obviously, knowing you for so long, I know you definitely have purposes that you're trying to achieve, regardless of
yeah.
what you mention or you don't. You're not the type of person that surround yourself at this age, this point of your life. You want to surround yourself. You said it before. I want to surround myself with the best.
Yeah.
So because eventually it doesn't emasculate you that you're not as good as them. You're learning from them. You're
Yep.
observing from them. What can I do better that they're not doing currently?
Hmm.
And I want to shape my life to the better. Like I'll read I'll read it, like I'll say it again. If what are your core beliefs? Like when I read that, when I said that people who live for a purpose, people who live life for a purpose have core beliefs that influence the decision to shape the day. What are the core beliefs? See,
Hmm.
that's the key word, core beliefs. Without your purpose, you need core beliefs first. What are those beliefs that's going to lead you to that purpose?
Hmm.
Because what's the purpose of the beliefs? Like, how can I go, yeah, my purpose is to be an influencer so I can ensure that no kids ever end up doing drugs ever again? Where is that belief coming from then? What's wrong with today's society that you see that makes you want that to be your purpose,
Hmm.
right? And going back to what you were saying about growing like in a black like society, how it's either drugs or rapping at one point, or it could be
Still is
it still is. Sorry, definitely still is in like in a lot of areas.
a lot of areas.
Um, I feel a lot of people's purposes is to change that mentality because there's other things that you could do. Like when you look at presidents, CEOs, doctors, you would want African Americans to be doctors, presidents of the United
Of
States,
course.
prime ministers, stuff like that. It's not only rapping and what do you call it, basketball or drug dealing. Because if you look at these greats, they like a lot of these rappers they were doing drugs and being successful at the same time. But that look what happened to a lot of them. They're not even here no more. Some of them are
Yeah.
dead. Some of them are not even non-existent because drugs
Yeah.
took away their life. So what was
Yeah.
the real purpose?
Yeah. It's true.
And it's sad to see because a lot of them were great figures and they were talking about real damn stuff
Hmm.
in their art of work. But I'll say it again: you can't play fire with fire because
No. No.
And then if your purpose is to play around and keep messing around, then it's gonna bite you back in the ass.
It's true. So I guess from your perspective, and I would agree, it's like, okay, purpose is purpose, like you said, is all about the core beliefs.
Yeah,
So whether which side you want to pick, that's up to you. But at
yeah,
the end of the day, what we know from history, because the beautiful thing about life is there's people that lived before you. There's people who actually had like the same purpose and
yeah,
ideal and living and the dreams, visions, and all that stuff. The exact same thing, probably even bigger. There
yeah.
was a world before like all this, so their imagination was way bigger than ours, obviously, right?
Hmm.
So you can learn from history and learn from their stories and see what they went through.
I love
So,
how
like you said, that
yeah,
core beliefs, putting it with the fire and wanting to play fire with fire, obviously you learn from those
yeah.
looked up before. It's not going to end up well.
I love
So if you
how
take that core beliefs, put that purpose in something that's ruled in righteousness, happiness, humility, you could change the world and you can have a longer your ideals, your visions, your goals is a long-term success. It's
of course.
you could see it sprout for generations, right?
Yeah,
You could be here to see it. You could live to see it with ease. You don't
you
have to worry
know,
about someone trying to come after you or being attacked or any different things. Like you could live life free.
I love how
And I think that's powerful that you said that.
yeah, and you know what, you said something really powerful. I love how you said the people before us have a bigger imagination, and that's due to social media.
Yes,
Because
yes, yes.
there's no one influencing the purpose. Go back to when you were 6 years old. Go back to when people who lived before us when they were like young, because their imagination spurred like immediately. Like they would imagine things like imagine this, imagine that. Like look how strong their creativity was. Not to say that's not maybe that's not strong now, but with social media, it had deteriorated a lot of creativity, and I can see it for myself. I'm 25 years old. Yes, it hasn't like people who say it's all positive, it's fake because it depends what you're going after. If you're gonna
Yeah.
go after useless stuff, then of course it's gonna affect you negatively. If you're gonna go after positive stuff, then of course it's gonna affect you positively. And yes, I do believe actually, the less social media, the more your imagination can grow.
Hmm.
And that's because there's no one influencing your imagination. Because someone can easily say on Twitter or like whatever social media platform they can go on, say something that can influence you and that can influence your whole purpose. Because one tweet or one picture or one TikTok video change your perspective on life because of the creator you follow.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Like it's all upon you to figure out your purpose in life. It's all on you to figure out what you need to do in life. It's all on you. Like you could take the measures and the steps. Because the thing is, we focus so much time on work, family, social life, all these different things, but we don't focus and take enough time to focus on ourselves. So unless we do
No.
that, if you don't take 10 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day, the only time you ever do that's on your birthday. But even then, on your birthday once a year, you're doing that to get drunk or doing something, whatever, to get just to forget about everything. Clearly, there's never a point in your life where you're ever going to sit down and reflect on who you are and what you're living for. So until that happens, until you make it a daily practice and a habit, yeah, you're going to live a
Well,
life of someone else instead of your own.
how about you elaborate on that? You talked about people just fulfilling trying to fulfill their purpose on their birthday, as they're making their birthday much more meaningful than it actually is. So let me ask you a question. Don't you believe it's actually much more right to do that every day as opposed to one day a year? Like how people do it on New Year's?
Of course, because the easiest thing to explain like this, Osama, because always the good thing about this show and what I want to do is people on different shows they talk about well obviously they talk about a subject, talk about their beliefs, their opinions, and everything, right? So obviously give you the same thing for us. Like people will say like these are our opinions. Obviously it is our opinions, but some things it's like bro, this is facts. I want some things to be cut crystal clear. I don't want someone to be like, oh, all you do is just talk and talk and talk. Okay, that's the case. But this, what I'm about to say, is proven. All you got to do is do the homework, look for the gems. All right. So, like the fact that I just said, the people you look up to, take your top 5 heroes. Your top 5 heroes. I don't care if it's music, art, politics, whatever. Your top 5 heroes, top 5 friends right now.
Hmm.
Those top 5 heroes, top 5 friends. Do they take? Let's say no. Hold on. Yeah, top 5 heroes, top 5 friends. Do they take 1 hour a day to focus on themselves every day, or on their birthdays,
Yeah.
or ever?
Hmm.
So people, take your top 5 heroes, top 5 friends right now, or the people you hang around with the most. Do they take 1 hour a day to focus on themselves? 30 minutes, 20 minutes a day to focus on themselves, their goals, their visions, everything, what they need to do the next day to prepare. If they do, okay, that means you are a person that definitely has an understanding of how life works and you see most things for what they are and you clearly are trying to achieve something and it's only a matter of time. But if the case is
Yeah.
no for your friends, obviously you have to reevaluate your friends and try to figure out to be around more positive people who are on a different plateau.
Well,
If your heroes are the exact same way, you can just tell they're not very long term thinking or long term visionaries or long term ideals, then you clearly have to figure out what's wrong and look for heroes that are actually trying to see a life that's beyond them. Because living a purpose, yeah, you're living your purpose, but the bigger purpose is beyond you. The purpose is beyond your name, your lineage, your community, where you stay, the people that you know. It's beyond you. The purpose is bigger than what you are given as far as the sum of your life. It's what outlives us. Your purpose is what outlives you, my friend.
the thing is, we should also touch on how though we spoke about living for a purpose is a life filled with purpose. Sorry. We should also mention that you can find your purpose at any age. Yes, sometimes Muhammad had mentioned that Imma had gotten crushed due to whatever circumstances. But you really need a purpose because that purpose is should be a driving factor. And mind you, again, you guys can either listen to this or don't, but it's your life because your friends, I don't care how much they care for you, if you mess up your life, they're not going to be watching you. Don't think that 10 or 20 years down the road, if you take a wrong path, because all of a sudden you're like, this is my purpose. And your friends are on some other path and they left you because you went on a wrong path. Don't think they're gonna be like caring for you no more because you chose that path.
Yep.
They're gonna feel sad, like wow, like this guy had the potential. Mind you, be with people who will help you elevate. And yes, if you're in high school right now and you're listening to this, you're probably thinking, well, I'm gonna have the same friends I do when I leave grade 12. No, you are not.
Nope.
Everyone says that. Believe me, that is not true.
You'll
I said
have
I said
one
that.
to two, 1 to 3 if you're lucky.
If you're yeah, 1 to 3, let's say max 5 close friends. If you're legit lucky, you'll have 5 close friends who you'll see on a day-to-day basis. The rest are all people that they're still your friends, but you're not going to see them as often because also which kind of it can be a tie into this. You can't have so many friends because it's hard to build foundation and relationships with them.
Yeah.
Like how like you need to give at least if you're gonna give everyone 5 minutes of your time, there's not enough time to build a relationship
Hmm.
with someone. Similarly, with purpose, if you give yourself an hour a day, talk to yourself. What do I want to do? Why am I doing? Remind yourself. Believe me, after a whole year, 2 years, you'll definitely be more elevated than you were those 2 years before.
It's true. It's true. And like you said, people, like purpose, 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 purpose. It's something that's purpose is something that you can't you cannot have an entanglement with purpose. That's all I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Nice word.
You do not want to have an entanglement with purpose. You want to know what you're dealing with. All right. Be honest, be direct. Do not mess with your purpose. Do not have an entanglement with your purpose.
So I'm reading this site, lifehack.org. 13 ways living with purpose makes you happier and more fulfilled. The first one is you can feel grounded to a calling. You can feel grounded to a calling that is bigger than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what they have here is while living with a purpose won't guarantee higher paychecks and fancy property, there's a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself.
Yep.
You want to be part of movements that positively impact the world and leave legacies behind for the future generations. I've always spoken about this.
Mm-hmm.
Think about actually, I'm gonna say someone that did speak about it in a past podcast. We asked our guest Lean in episode I believe it was the Forex episode. I think it was like what 12,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. And Muhammad asked her, "Who is your mentor 10 years from now?" Is that what you asked her?
No, I asked her. The question I asked her was, mentors. No, no, no. Yeah, who are her like top 5 mentors?
Oh, who are
Like, who are
top
the
five
people she look
mentors?
up to, like her heroes?
Yeah. And then she said, me 10 years from now.
That was the first. Yeah.
So going back to that quote, you could tell by the way she spoke, she wants to leave a legacy, which I believe should I don't like people think that you can only do that in an entrepreneurial mindset. No, you could do that in a different mindset. You could do that within a private industry, the public, doesn't matter what you do, that should be your goal.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you can help others live their purpose by empowering them. Now, uh, the thing is with this one, I'm not Muhammad. I think you can agree. This is the
Yeah.
hard one because like sometimes here's my question to you: where do you feel you can stop empowering people because sometimes they're not able to they're not like you could just tell by them that they're not there. So how are you able to differentiate between someone if you are going to help them that this guy has this purpose, this guy doesn't? What do you do?
What do I do if someone wants to
So
like
you
ask
have
me?
so the second point is you help others live their purpose by empowering them. Now my question is to you is how are you able to how are you able to I guess it's a question like oh my god I'm trying to look for the word how are you able to I guess digest that someone
Yeah.
is actually having their purpose or doesn't like what thought process do you go through is like I can sense that this guy is with this has a purpose and this guy doesn't so you can help
Yeah.
them out.
This is actually good. It's a good question you asked me because this question should be an episode on its own. And I think when it comes to purpose, let's say you want to be successful. Obviously, if you plan to run your own company, also you have to learn how to work for a company. Then you
Yeah.
have to learn how to grow within a company. And then when you have bigger roles, more tasks, more responsibilities. And one of the biggest things is to be a successful owner of a company, you have to be able to develop leaders. And those leaders have to be able to develop leaders within themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to the sense of purpose, when you meet individuals who are either unaware of their purpose or just starting out and wanting to learn how to grow within, it is the hardest process in the world. I think if I if I looked at my life, if I looked at my life, especially the past 5 to 6 years, the hardest thing, well, there's a lot of hard things, but one of the hardest is easily top three is trying to figure out ways to develop a leader. Not only develop a leader, how to make someone, especially in our age with social media and everything, how to make someone really
Um,
be attached to their purpose. Because a lot of
yeah,
people that I know, they know their purpose. They know their purpose. They know 100%, but they delve away from it. It's hard for them to stick onto it and maintain that level of intensity and focus for a long period of time. That's the hardest thing for a lot of individuals. Even right now that I'm dealing with, like people know their purpose, but they don't want to. They want to see it once every few days or so, right? And that's not how it works. You do not become successful like that. You do not become you do not change your life and who you are as a person by treating your purpose like it's side job or a side girl or whatever. Like you don't disrespect it. You don't disrespect your purpose. Once again, it lives. It's bigger than you. It lives. It lives. It outlives you. So therefore, if you're not even living to the standards of what your purpose is asking for, who do you think you are? And it's, as far as the grand scheme of life and what your
no,
life means
yeah,
to you and everyone else. So do not disrespect the one thing that's supposed to give you everything you want in life. Osama, if I told you that your purpose was simply to water 3 plants every single day, but you water the first plant at 5 o'clock in the morning, you water the
hmm
second plant at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the last plant you water at let's say 12 o'clock, or like let's say 11:55
yeah,
p.m. Of course, that's the pain in the ass. No one wants to water 3 plants 3 7 parts of the day. I might be going with friends. I might have this birthday, movies, TV shows, all this stuff, whatever, vacation. But the point is, Osama, if you water these 3 plants consistently every single day, you are learning something new. You're actually seeing the plants grow, and eventually you'll grow also. You'll develop new ways and methods how to grow these plants. And
hmm
by the time these plants grow, not only do you reap the benefits of it, you'll figure out a way to grow even more plants. And more people come to you to ask more plants and more plants and more plants. And by the time you know it, you've become this person. And therefore, your purpose outlives you because you're able to attain everything you want in life. And it all started from watering these 3 plants every single day. Nobody wants to do it, but the people who do it, the people who actually does it on a continuous basis are the ones we look up to in life. So people, the amount of plants that you have, whether it's 5, 10, or one, start watering the plants. It's not gonna all happen at the exact same time. It's at separate
well,
times. It's up to you to find out what those times are. Get to watering, bro. Get
well,
the buckets.
do it. Okay,
Get the buckets.
we all get buckets. Well, ways you do. Anywhere else you don't. But I was gonna say, you spoke about the plants. There's a lot of monotonous things that you have to do that are definitely gonna be boring. However, you need to do them because they shape you and they shape your purpose. Your purpose should never be easy because it will never be easy.
Hmm.
It's going to be hard. You just said one plant's 5 o'clock, the other one's at one is 5 o'clock in the morning, the other is what 12 in the afternoon, for example. The last one was like before midnight. Man, I can't chill. I can't do this. Well, if you're able to manage your time, like, hey guys, I could chill from this time to this time. If that was really your life, or like you're a farmer, like imagine if you're a farmer and you have to make sure that all the deadlines are hit because then you lose business if you don't hit them.
Yeah.
See, that's the purpose thing. It's like, well, if these plants do not, if I do not water these plants and harvest them, I will lose money. So I had to hit, I cannot plan out 9:01. I have to start watering at 9 o'clock because it'll give me exactly half an hour to finish it all.
Hmm.
And that's really important to understand that.
I agree. I totally agree. So that's why when it comes to living your purpose, it's up to you to find out how many plants you have, what time you need to water the plants. It's not going to be hard, but there's people who've done it before. Ask them for guidance, questions, and awareness. And by the way, people,
Mm,
like your parents, your friends, or people, you know what, you know what I just realized from this whole thing that we've been talking about?
what's up?
And it's something where I messed up too, because I haven't heard anyone say this. I haven't heard any leader say this. I don't know if I should even say it. Who knows? I don't think I'm going to steal it at this moment. But you know how it's like when we have a goal and a dream, we're taught to obviously, like let's say your friends and family, the close members, going to try to stop you from achieving those dreams and stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah, which is could be true, obviously, most of the time. So we're
Hmm.
taught to like hide our dreams and ambitions away from them and go to others who have the same awareness and like I guess view of life. The same thing, like just go to them and share ideas with them and stuff, right? And you just put your friends and family to the side. But it's like, no, that's not right. Because even though those people agree with you, obviously, and they have the same awareness and goals as you, those people, your friends and your parents, are still there for a reason. So if you don't, if you guys can't agree on that, you can still ask them other things to still get answers from.
Hmm.
Like we can still get answers from our parents and our friends on things that might be related to what we're trying to do. We can ask them in a way where they're not even aware of it. So you can still get those answers. You can actually get a good collective idea and
Yep.
perspective on what you're trying to do at hand. So the funny thing is, it's funny how we really avoid a lot of our close friends and family members for advice and all these different things, but focus on the people that are actually trying to help us. But at the same time, we could still get possible and powerful answers from those people as well. So it's
No,
pretty weird.
which is absolutely true. I just like to add on to your point. You can get advice from anybody. And I believe that, yeah, sometimes someone may have experiences in life that you're not even aware of because he actually went through it, but
Mhm.
he doesn't even speak about it. And yeah, and I just definitely believe it should never like you should never feel like down on yourself that you're asking for advice because every leader has ever gotten help in the beginning, and regardless if it's like just once or twice or like 10 times at max, you're gonna need it. You're gonna need help. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, what are you saying? We hope that you're still here at the end of the episode,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
make sure to follow myself Akusa 300 on Instagram. Make sure to follow my brother from another mother, Muhammad, at Muhammad.global.
mhm.
Make sure to follow us on Ways 2.0. We reached 400 followers. We thank you very much for that.
Yep.
Took a while, I'm not gonna lie.
Long time. But the point is, the process is getting better. It's getting smooth, and that's what we do. It's all about getting better every single day.
That's what we do. And you can catch us on Mondays, every Wednesday, and every Fridays. And peace out.
Peace.